Hello, hello. I am here to talk through how to lock in partnerships for 2024. We had a live event and we are recording this separately to just really dig a little bit deeper and spend a little bit more time talking through this webinar that we had, this virtual event that we had. So I'm going to hop right into it. So this is was hosted by myself. I'm the creative director and founder at Moxie AI, and MJ Allen tackles partnerships and business development at Moxie. And we're excited to get into it. So first, I just want to talk through: are you in the right place? For one, are you a startup? Do you have a small business? Are you a music artist? All of those things are things that we personas that we really help develop their bold brands and reach their audience with scroll stopping visuals. Do you want to add revenue streams in 2024? Are you thinking that you want to extend your brand reach or reputation in 2024? And do you want to make dope shit? You may notice this isn't very formal. I'm casual because we're casual because we are creative entrepreneurs. And so we like to keep things fun. So I'll dive right in. The first thing you want to do is know your personas. Who are the types of partners that you're looking for? The why behind why you were looking to partners in the first place. It might be to expand your audience. It might be to grow your reach or grow your brand reputation. And even if you're really early on, I think people think that they cannot um, partner with companies, but you actually really can partner with companies early on. So you want to know what kind of companies are you looking for? Who are the right types of partners for you? One thing is if you share a common audience, but you solve a different problem, those are going to be great personas for you. You want to work with companies that have an adjacent product to your product. So that's one of those. Another one is don't forget tech companies or brick and mortar companies. There are softwares that can really match well with your audience. So imagine if you have a service, maybe there's some software that really is complementary to the business problems that those people are solving or that the consumers could use on a daily basis. Those are ones you want to look for. Also, brick and mortar companies. Most startups at this point are starting virtually. They have online stores and products, or they primarily offer their services through their online portals. Don't forget about brick and mortar because there are a lot of in person, intimate experiences you can create through pop ups and different things like that if you partner with a brick and mortar organization. And then the last is philanthropic, social service, and government agencies. These companies or organizations that do this, they are looking to offer more and more resources and network to their communities. So they could be looking to partner with companies like yours in order to offer a discounted service or to introduce their community to the type of things that you provide. Next, you want to know your tactics. So once you've identified the kind of organizations that you want to partner with, again, don't leave out tech, don't leave out brick and mortar, don't leave out any type of social service or philanthropic organization that might want to partner with you. Now you need to think about how do we do these partnerships? What do we do together? What are our tactics? So one that's really simple and a great entry point, I recommend starting small. MJ always says you want to date before you marry, and that really includes these partnerships because you might know their service or their product really well and feel great about the marketing that they're putting out, the branding, their product itself, but you don't know how that organization functions. You don't know the internal workings of that organization, and that part is going to be a huge factor in how you experience the partnership. So it's great to do that in a light way first, just to learn more about each other and continue to confirm that they're the right partner for you. So showing up in community with an in-person or a virtual event is a great way to get started with someone. Another one is cross promotion. So this is a little bit more of a sophisticated relationship where you might be um, having a cross promotion, let's say at checkout. So you might add on another product that's very complementary, or you can do a cross promotion in your promos. So in your advertising campaigns, you can advertise two separate products that are very complementary. And I have an example of that I'm going to do in a case study in a minute. Another one is extending your service. So, if you have, I use Moxie as an example. We do branding, we do social media service, we do partnership packages. So, we have all these services, but one thing that we don't do is media buying. So, it might make sense for us to partner with a media buying company or agency and say, when people want that service, to be able to extend our service with this partnership and then get a cut on the back end. So if you have something that your customers are frequently asking you for, or if you know some other organizations in your orbit where you have something that's really complementary to what they offer, that's the type of tactic that works really well for that. Another one is enhancing your product. This works best with like CPG products, physical products, where maybe if you add in a material or if you add in somehow there's a collaboration between the two products, then that works really well. An example would be sometimes partner good CPG companies, they partner with artists. And so now you have like a pattern or a fabric or some type of illustration that's created by the artist. Now you're collaborating with them to enhance your product. The next one is knowing your deal structure. The 70-30 split is something that I recommend a lot. I've done it tons. 30% typically to you, 70 to the partner. Why that 70-30 split is because a lot of times if you're the one reaching out for a partnership, you have mutually beneficial things, but they might have more reach than you have. Or they may be in a position to spend money on advertising campaign where you might not have those resources. So you really want to incentivize them by giving them that majority of the split. And this is one where people don't typically push back and negotiate that. In this case, your goal is not to make a bunch of money off of this partnership. Your goal is to reach a new audience, and your goal is to grow your brand reputation because now you're associated with this other brand. The second point that I have on here on know your deal structure is really important, and so many people, big, small companies, you name it, forget this part, and that is the data. If you're having a live event, one example would be making sure that you get access to that email list of people who registered for the event. You want to have that in the deal. You want to know up front if that's something you'll be able to access. And then I have forms here as well. An example that I have of that is having, let's say, an in-person event where maybe the event is free, but people have to fill out a form in order to get their ticket to the event. And that form could have unique questions that you add specifically to conduct research on your target audience. Something like that is a great thing to work into a deal, especially if you're not necessarily doing this partnership initially to get a bunch of revenue. Is to grow your reach, grow your audience, but also expand your research and your knowledge of your target customer. The third one I have here is extending your service. So if you are extending your service, or even with the fourth one, if you're co-selling, you just want to make sure that you put the details of that into your deal structure. So you know at what point, if they do an extension of the service, what's the deal? What is the split on that? What's their commission? What's your commission if you do it that way? If you're co-selling, you want to have within the deal, where are the places where this is being sold? So if it's brick and mortar, are they selling it only on brick in the store, or are they also selling it online? And then what are the splits with revenue related to all those things? Those are all the things you want to make sure you include in your deal structure. And again, I'm going through this pretty fast, but this is meant to be to whet your palate, to get you interested in this topic and give you some really good nuts and bolts to start thinking about your strategy and talk further after that. Then these are some common mistakes. Some of these I have done, full transparency, and so I don't make the mistakes I've made, and don't make the mistakes of some of these key examples. So one is no shared values. This one's straightforward, and it should be an easy thing for you to avoid. But sometimes when you get an opportunity to partner with a company that has a huge reach, or they're trying to accomplish something or improve their reputation in collaboration with your organization, sometimes their reputation really doesn't match those shared values and they're trying to make a pivot. Those are really tricky ones. You want to make sure you pay a lot of attention to the details around that. Here's an example. Forever 21, a couple years ago, partnered with Atkins Diet. And what they did was they had the Atkins bars, like the diet bars, being given away at checkout when people make their purchase. This was a disaster because I think it's obvious, but it pushes diet culture, diet ideology on young people and young women primarily, and that did not go over well. A second example is a common mistake to avoid is overpromising. This one also is pretty easy to do because you get excited about the potential of the partner's influence and you aren't thinking about, well, what have I done to date? What kind of metrics have I been able to pull off in the past? One way to avoid overpromising is to actually think through what's the specific goals that you have. What are the KPIs related to this campaign, and to talk openly about them with your partner. That way you have a good expectation around what's possible, and that you're not going into the partnership with they might have ideas of what you can bring to the table that are far beyond what will happen, and vice versa. So you want to make sure you know that. An example is with McLaren and Honda. So McLaren has race cars that they have um, done for years, you know that. But they partnered with Honda, and Honda created the engines for the race cars. Well, they weren't really prepared to do that, and so the cars were not working. Disastrous partnership, again, over promising. The next one is not preparing for launch. This one's major. The You cannot rely solely on the reach or influence or brand awareness of your partner, or even your own brand, in order to have a big successful launch. It's not just because you're partnering together you'll have a great launch. You have to prepare for that launch, and you have to involve your partner in detail in that launch. What are you going to do on social media? What are you going to do in your emails? Are you going to run ad campaigns? Will there be any in-person events during the window of this partnership that you can both show up at to help continue to leverage that partnership? All those things are really important to look at. So you want to look at your content calendars. Both companies, you want to look at your event calendar and really collaborate on those things. The last one is conflicting partnerships. Sometimes you can have conflicting partnerships, relationships, like maybe they have a relationship, business relationship with your competitor, or vice versa. So you just want to look into that. Now let's hop into some case studies. So I love this one. This is obviously Cardi B and Patti LaBelle. They did a collaboration this fall, right, for Thanksgiving, for the whip shots, whipped cream, vodka whipped cream, and the sweet potato pies that Patti LaBelle sells. So that was a partnership that they did, and I want to break it down. So for one, the strategy around their partnership was that they were going to co-market complementary products. They actually did not co-sell. They really co-marketed the product. So this is the cross promotion tactic. And they did a Instagram series in order to promote this that they did together. And they really played on nostalgia with the Mocha Chocolata, if you know Patti LaBelle's song. And that's what they called their combined uh, recipe. And this was all in time for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, and it really extended their ideal customer profile to new audiences. Obviously, Cardi B has a younger audience, Patti LaBelle has a slightly older audience, but the combination of the two was something that really made a lot of sense for the holidays. The next case study I want to talk about is Skims and Swarovski. I know I'm going to mispronounce this name, and it is what it is. We fun, we casual around here, so get with it. If y'all want to correct me, you could drop me a note, and I will learn how to say it. Um, but this partnership really was an elevated, more expensive line that Kim Kardashian dropped with Skims. And regardless of your thoughts about Kim Kardashian, she is a genius at marketing and branding. So she should be studied, period. And with the Skims partnership, it was kind of similar to something that she did with Fendi a little while ago, where her clothing line is not, I wouldn't call it a luxury product. And so when she did this collaboration, it was actually creating a luxury line essentially of her product. You've seen that before in reverse, where luxury brands sometimes will do like a collaboration with, like, let's say Target or something like that, where they create a more accessible line. This is the reverse. So this is another tactic, honestly, that you can do. So in this case, they market it as like jewelry is skin. Skims is actually a play on skin, and the idea is that a lot of it is flesh toned, and it's really complementary shapewear and loungewear. So then adding jewels to that. So they did an enhanced product was one of their tactics. And so that product was enhanced with the Swarovski crystals. And this was in time for the holidays where everybody wants to be glammed up and having a good time. And it was for everybody. So all body types are welcome in this. Then in the rollout, they had a celebrity launch event. Even if you're not able to pull off a celebrity launch event, you can do an influencer launch, or you can do people within the industry that are really make a lot of sense, or just something fun that you can create great content off of. Consider doing launch events for your rollouts, particularly if you're launching with a partner that um, has a lot of reach. And then the rollout also was online and brick and mortar. So Swarovski has stores. They're actually selling the product in their stores. This is a way for Skims to get into a brick and mortar store, which they only do online retail at the time. So this entire deal was really, I think, well done, and speaks to more of the Kim Kardashian's genius, I think. So let's talk about the future of your brand. MJ really will be the first person that you would talk to about your brand and talk about your business goals for 2024. One thing that's really important to note is that if you work with us on a partnership, it's about a 4 to 6 week turnaround. We will do a lot for you. So that includes us doing research, walking through those individual steps that we just talked about, where we're, looking at what is the right persona, what are the right tactics, how could you structure your deals, spreadsheets to structure those deals. We also do research on the ideal partners for you, and then how to conduct those communications. If you get the partnership package within the next 14 days, you will get 10% off of that package, which is pretty incredible. So if you are interested, we will put a link for you to book a meeting with MJ, and you can click that in order to get started. All right. Now I'm just going to tell you about our next event. Our next event is how to use AI to be a badass CMO. There are a lot of CMOs out there that are thinking about all of this stuff every single day, and AI is a huge gift to marketers. It's a huge gift to every industry, but to marketers it's unreal, because without a whole lot of sophistication, you can leverage it immediately. So we want to talk about that, how you can essentially triple yourself by doing that. And I'm just so grateful for the fact that you guys are here. And again, this is fun, it's casual, but we'd love to talk more with you about your particular brand. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.